they swim right by them and go, what the hell are you?
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, these guys we haven't seen any sea lice on them at all our handling events. We don't expect that we ever will. You know, and yet there was definitely sea lice out here.
Yeah, they come back every year with the salmon.
Absolutely, and this is a huge salmon fishery, right?
Yeah.
So if we were to get sea lice on them, we would have seen them, and we weight sample these guys regular basis and handle them regularly.
Yeah.
So and you know, of course, we're both ex-salmon farmers, so we've been trained and know what to look for and how to count and gravid females and the whole 9 yards if we ever got to the point of having to do that with black cod. But we've never seen, you know, a lep or caligus on these guys at all, ever. And so that's kind of a cool thing, you know. If you look at it from the perspective it's a wild stock, it's a pretty good market for it, especially with the Chinese market coming up. You know, Chinese getting more and more money in their pocket, and they love black cod. If we could get a bunch of hatcheries together, I wouldn't be surprised if you could see half the industry go to this eventually. You know, maybe 10, 20 years from now, but they've certainly got potential to be a pretty good stock on, you know, on this coast, I think, you know. Like I say, you know, we need some improved brood stock, we need to get improved growth rates, and we need to really learn about their feeding, and their feed conversion rate is, you know, a lot higher at the moment than a normal salmon farm would be. But I think that's a learning curve. That's learning about, you know, nobody really knows. And the worst thing you want to do as a farmer is really underfeed. You want to try and be perfect feeding, but you don't want to underfeed and you don't want to overfeed, especially on a site where, you know, the key is not to have a lot of benthic to the bottom. The whole point is not to ruin the benthic. And you asked about benthic, and our boss Steve, his other company is a company called Aquametrics Research, who do a lot of benthic sampling for all the other salmon farms, but independently. And so part of our mandate here is, of course, that's being done here as well. So hopefully we prove that this whole system and idea works. But also there's still a learning curve to learn about with black cod. They're very new species. You know, they
yeah, I've never heard of them being farmed except for on land. Salt Spring is it big?
Well, these came from Salt Spring, right? The hatchery there provided these fish, and the fish that are being grown over at Terry Brooks's, who you met just at the wharf there. So that's really, there's two other small farms on the inside that have also got black cod, but Terry's the biggest because he belongs to the hatchery, and they've got, you know, a couple of 100,000 of them. We've got 60,000 on this farm, so we're probably this, you know, in amongst the second or third biggest out of the four of them. So you know, so there's not very many people that have had much experience with black cod. Terry's been really handy to me because he's been a year ahead of me. So in large part he's helped me with, you know, hey Rusty, watch out because they really slow down here, and you know, you can blow a lot of feed here and you won't get the growth. And so he's been a really handy resource for me and helped me with a lot, and he really didn't have to. But you know, of course he's keen on aquaculture and likes this idea, and you know, maybe this is the way of the future, and why not, you know, share information. So I think that over time fish farmers need to do that with each other more and more, and there's been a hell of a lot of sort of companies keeping their secrets, and we need to get away from that, really. You know, we need to share information. We're all trying to do the same thing and do it right, you know. So yeah, I've been really lucky and fortunate that Terry's, you know, given me as much help as he has with the growth side of the fish, and knowing that, you know, at a certain stage you will waste a lot of feed if you don't really watch what's happening here. And that also is a lot of weight sampling, and you know, how much have they grown for how much feed, and okay, well, you know, okay, I'm sort of building my own growth curve as we go here. But yeah, it's been handy to have Terry across the way there as well, being a year ahead of us as well. So but yeah, different fish, different species, you know. Another one, tick it off. What am I going to do next? Maybe tuna in New Zealand.
Yeah. Different philosophies.
Yeah, well, I think, you know, in reality, and even though people don't really believe you, fish farmers are actually environmentalists, you know. Like I was a commercial fisherman, we were just taking it out and not giving it back. There's not enough left. We've got to grow these things. We've got to farm the ocean properly, as best we can, you know, and try and improve it all the time. But we've got to farm the ocean if we want to eat fish.
It's the only way to slow down what we're taking out of it, too.
I think so. Glad you agree. Right on, fish farming.
Gotta do it.